and welcome to this week's episode. We are going to take a look at something a little bit different in honour of it being October and Halloween. We're taking a look at Glitch in the Matrix.
A phrase first coined in the 1999 film The Matrix, which posited the idea that humanity is living in a giant computer simulation. Over the years, a glitch in the Matrix has become shorthand for an example of an unusual occurrence that cannot logically be explained.
Literally my life. Unusual occurrence that cannot logically be explained.
I just want to preface this video by saying, these stories are gathered together off the internet, so they're not our stories, but they're from places like Reddit, Google, some magazine articles. So yeah, let's just get into it. I'm excited.
And if you are really interested in that particular story, there is the person's username, handle name at the bottom of each story on each slide as well. We won't read them out because some of them are just jumbled up random letters.
Yeah.
If you do want to know more about that story, we have left that information there for you. Disappearing phone. One time I was standing at the top of the stairs talking to my mum down below. I dropped my phone, and as if it was going down the stairs, it completely disappeared. There are no cracks or spaces it could have slipped into. There's a flush wall all the way down on both sides. My mum and I were mind blown. We couldn't find this phone anywhere. 2 days later, I was cleaning the upstairs hall, and there my phone was, underneath my sister's dollhouse. There's no way this could have happened. Absolutely impossible. My mum and I both saw the phone bounce down the stairs and then poof, gone.
What?
They always jokingly say, there's a black hole somewhere in this house because they put something down and it's just not there. And I think everyone's experienced that, right? You think something somewhere, you remember it being there, you remember putting it in that place, and then it's just gone.
Yeah.
But to actually
do you know, before I was saying I don't have a glitch in the Matrix story, but I actually do, and it happened 2 weeks before I went on holiday. So we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Now you've just said that, that's reminded me, so we'll get into that at the end.
Well, I've never seen it physically disappear before my eyes.
No, I've never seen anything like that.
Yeah, I've obviously put things down, and then I mostly put it down to my ADHD brain. But then
right.
sometimes I'm so certain, so fucking certain I put something in this place. And I even go back and retrace all my steps of everything that I've done. I find my phone in random places, fridge, airing cupboard, all the time. If I'm retracing my steps and going back through what I've been doing, because that's how I find things. But sometimes I'll retrace my steps and I'm just it's just gone.
But yeah, I've never actually to see it disappear in front of your eyes. I mean, that'd be kind of creepy, right?
Yeah, that's extra creepy. It's not even kind of creepy. That is creepy with a capital C.
The time traveler. I think we saw a time traveler. So this happened about a week ago, but my memory is still pretty fresh. My boyfriend and I were in the car on the way to get dinner and chatting casually. Everything was normal. As we pulled up to a red light, somebody caught my attention. There was a guy, I'd say between 15 and 18 years old, walking on the sidewalk across the street. I noticed him because he looked like he was straight out of 2004. Baggy jeans, grey beanie, and a black t-shirt over a long sleeve white shirt. I thought it was funny, figured he was some kind of skater, and pointed it out to my boyfriend and made some joke about the guy being from the 2000s. We both agreed he looked out of place, and that's when we started joking that he must be a time traveler. I said something like, he's probably thinking, whoa, dude, where am I? And as soon as I said it, the guy started to look around like he was confused. We were in a car and across a busy street from him. No way he heard us. We remarked that it was weird as we watched the guy look around confused for a few moments. Then we both looked away for no more than half a second. I don't remember why. And when we turned back, the guy was gone. What? At first, we laughed and thought it was funny, but the more we looked, the more we realised he had nowhere to go, and he really just completely disappeared. I couldn't stress this enough. We barely looked away and had nowhere to go that we wouldn't be able to see him. We both freaked out and drove most of the rest of the way in silence while we thought about time travel. We hadn't really talked about it since, but we agree that this was obviously really weird.
It's an odd one, right? Because when you think of time travel, you generally think of people like coming from the future and like
Yeah.
back to like our time. You don't think of someone coming from the past into the future, because I assume that's what that would have been, because they knew the fashion and everything of the
I
time.
mean, like, I'm sorry, but imagine if you were from 2004 and you just randomly appeared in 2023. I mean, you would be like, this shit's fucked up. Yeah.
Imagine if you appeared in 2020, you'd be like, what the actual fuck? Where is
Yeah.
everyone?
I mean, I don't think I've ever had a scenario like that either. But the fact that the guy looked really confused when they said like he looked like he was a time traveler.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a conversational starter, that one, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, if that was your story, people would probably just look at you like you're weird, right? Or having like, are you okay?
Or like they'll come up with some kind of excuse, like,
Mhm.
he's stuck in that fashion from being younger, and he's probably just lost and didn't know where he was meant to be going, looking for a street name or something.
But I can imagine when I was reading the description, I was like thinking of like Avril Lavigne's Skater Boy video. That type of style that they're on about, right? With the
Yeah,
skater. I thought it was a skater.
exactly how I used to dress. Yes.
Interesting.
Temporary mind link. For about a week, I would wake up, look at the clock, see it was 2 a.m. At least it's not 3 a.m., because that's even creepier, right? When
A
it's 3
switching hour, right?
and go back to sleep. One of these nights, I woke up as usual and noticed a green glow next to my ear. I already don't like where this is going. I turned my head to see what I can only describe as a giant, light bright peg plugged into my pillow. I don't know what that is.
Isn't that aren't they like the glow were they like glowworms or like the teddies that had like a glowing ball or something? Or was it those things that you used to plug the LEDs in and make a picture?
I mean, I have absolutely zero idea. So shall we just quickly, whilst we've got everyone here, because I'm sure there's other people that don't know. Um
I
yes,
think
it's one of the things that you would put pegs into and it would make a picture. So
and then when you light it up, it makes a
yeah,
picture. Yeah, that's going back some years.
I don't like, I've never seen one before till now.
They are older than Hannah, people.
Instead of being disturbed by it, I thought to myself, Craig, my brother, would think this is really cool. Then I felt instantly asleep. The next day, I went to my brother's apartment and remarked how tired he looked. He said, yeah, well, every night this week, I've woke up at 2 a.m. and then last night, I swear I heard you calling my name. Shocked, I told him that what I had experienced and wondered if, for some reason, we were having a psychic connection. He got out a pack of index cards and we each took 10. One by one, we wrote the numbers and held them up to discover 9 out of 10 matched. The last one I left blank and he drew a 0. Both initiate nothing. Then the spell was broken and it hasn't happened since.
What? I mean, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
How would you even explain that?
Things happen myself, like that, kind of like this, but like I'll be like thinking something, and then Dean will say it aloud.
Mm-hmm.
Just,
that happens quite a bit, but
yeah.
I don't not dreams like that.
No,
Dreaming like that.
no. And my brother's a twin, so those of you that don't know, and I'm always like curious of the connection that they have between them.
Yeah.
Like one of them was, we were at a family party the other day. One of them was off somewhere and we didn't know where they were. They were like around somewhere. And I said to the other one, I said, just use your psychic twin connection and tell us where he is. And he was just like, shut up, Hannah. They don't believe in that kind of stuff, really. But yeah.
I mean, believing is part of it, right? You
Yeah.
kind of gotta believe in it to make it happen in the first place.
Absolutely. But yeah, they've always had like a weird connection between them two. But yeah, it's very odd sometimes when you're just sat there thinking something, you've not mentioned it, all of a sudden like the person that you're with says it out loud and you're just like, well, why are you in my brain?
Yeah, or me and David do it sometimes, and we'll say the exact same thing at the exact same time, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah.
But I think that's down to us just being in sync.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to a psychic connection, it's more of an in sync thing. But with me and my mum, like sometimes I'll say something, she's like, do you know what? I was just thinking that, or vice versa. It's like yesterday I got up and I was like, because me mum goes shopping once a week. So by the time we're getting close to shopping day, it's a bit like old Mother Hubbard's cupboard, right? And you got to, make a meal out of whatever you've got left.
Yeah.
So I went to the fridge, decided what I was having, didn't say anything. And this was before my mum even got out of bed, right? So then last night when my mum comes home, I was like, oh, are you making tea? And she was like, yeah. So she just starts making it. And I'm like, by the way, what are you making me? And no word of a lie, she was making the meal that I'd already had in my head from before she woke up. So I don't know if it's a glitch in the matrix or whether it's just a bit on the woo side. I don't know, but yeah, it does happen sometimes. The duplicate dad. I had lots of insane glitch in the matrix moments when I was younger. One morning, I was getting ready for school. I went to go downstairs to get breakfast and past my parents' bedroom. The door was slightly ajar and I peeked in to see my dad putting his tie on and getting ready for work. When I got downstairs to the kitchen, my dad was already there making toast. I was so confused. Our house was small and only had one staircase, and there's no way he could have got to the kitchen without me seeing him. Really weird. I'd be going back up them stairs to see like who the hell's in the bedroom.
Yeah, but also, you get like the story when you are like on the kind of more like witchy, like woo side, you do hear the stories of like doppelgangers and them not like being kind of almost like an evil twin. Like it's an entity in your presence that is trying to confuse you into thinking they're someone else. Actually, this reminds me of a video I was watching the other day, and it's of this family, and like they record videos all the time because their house, like they have something in their house, yeah. And his daughter went down to the basement and was in the freezer getting something out for dinner. I don't really know the details of that side of it, but on the camera, she's come back up. On the camera, there's no one there, right? There's absolutely no one there, but he is talking to her as if she's there, and like this thing that you can't see even like goes into the bathroom and like shuts the door, and as if they're going to the toilet, and he's like telling her like, yeah, you use the toilet, but be quick because I need to go as well. He's disabled too, so like he struggles to move about.
Yeah.
And even gets to the point where she's then saying that not the person, not her, like the entity is saying like, oh, they couldn't find what they wanted in the freezer downstairs. And he's like, oh, well, I've got something here. Have this instead. And he like puts these pork chops or something on the side, in their plastic casing thing that you buy from a supermarket in. And when he's in the toilet, this casing starts like moving around on the side too, like it's being like nudged about a bit. And then all of a sudden he comes out of the bathroom, and then his daughter shouts to him from like downstairs in the basement because she's never come up from there.
What?
She's
That's
still
just
like looking for this thing. So
so
then he's like, you've come up and I gave you my pork chops. And she's like, no, you didn't. But because they know that there's something going on in this house, they've got this camera set up all the time to like share the content and like
well,
stuff.
yeah, because I would be too, like because I'd want to know what's going on.
And then obviously he's gone and watched the video back and been like, there's nothing there. Like I'm talking to myself. He's not like freaked out about it or anything because it's a regular thing for them.
Oh no! Like I'd be so creeped. I'd be so creeped out. I'd like low key not want to live there.
Same.
Because I believe in it all, but I don't want to cohabit with them.
No, and also like they've thrown a knife at him before as well. Like you've seen the video of that on the page too. So it's like they're not they're not a nice one. They're not one of those ones that you can just be like, fuck off, stop doing.
And sometimes, I mean, like, you must have seen Paranormal Activity, or for anyone out there who's watched Paranormal Activity, like, moving house doesn't always fix the problem, right?
No, sometimes it's attached
They're not attached to the house. They're attached to usually the person.
Well, sometimes it's even an item that you've
Could
got
be, yeah.
in the house, rather than like a person. But yeah, that story there just reminded me of that video I watched, because it was literally only like a week ago that I watched it, and it's the same kind of thing, right? It's like kind of like
That's a duplicate daughter. That's a duplicate daughter, not a duplicate dad. Wow, very interesting. If anyone has any stories like this or anything, like, send us an email, leave it in the comments. We would love to hear from you. I love stuff like this, just because it gets your mind ticking and thinking about other things.
Shirts from another dimension.
Ooh.
So this happened earlier this morning, but it's still on everyone's mind here. I was doing the laundry and moving clothes from the washing machine to the dryer. Well done, you, because I really struggled to dryer. I can put washing on, but drying it and folding it, it's not happening, mate. Whilst I was moving things over, I picked up Optimus Prime shirt and put it in the dryer. One of my kids needed me in the kitchen, so I walked away. When I went back to the washing machine, I picked up the next item and was again my Optimus Prime shirt. I figured I just mistook the first shirt for something and threw the shirt in there. A few items later, again, one of my kids needed something. We know the story, mate. It's, you can't do anything right without your kids being like, oh. One of my kids needed something, so I walked away. And when I got back again, I pulled out the same Optimus Prime shirt from the washing machine and said aloud, "What the hell? This is weird." I threw it in the dryer. My oldest daughter walked and asked what was going on, and I told her. She looked in the dryer and she said there were 3 of the shirts in there. It's impossible, as I only owned one. So I go to the dryer, and yes, indeed, there are 3 identical shirts, all wet as well. My daughter gets excited and calls my wife to take a look to confirm we're not crazy. My wife takes a look and also sees the 3 identical shirts.
What?
And she knows I only own one, as she brought it for me. My wife said we should take a picture, and she walked out of the laundry room to get her phone. While she was getting her phone, there was a loud bang coming from the laundry room, and we all quickly went back in there. Nothing seemed out of place or fallen, but when my daughter looked in the dryer, there was only one Optimus Prime shirt. We emptied the dryer, but in the end, there was only a single shirt. Still no idea what happened there, but all 3 of us saw multiple shirts.
Right. Question. If there was 3 of you in there with the 3 identical shirts, why did all 3 of you leave when she went to get the phone? Like, there's no way you go and get your phone. I'm staying here with these 3 shirts, because that is effed
Why
up.
would you leave them in the dryer as well? Like, you'd take them out, right? You'd have them like.
I'd have them like laid. Yeah, I'd have them laid out. I'd be like, "There's 1, there's 2, there's 3," right?
Yeah.
Damn, that's creepy.
Yeah, I've never had anything like that.
It's less creepy and more like straight up weird. I mean, props on having 3 of your favourite shirt. But then
Shame that they disappeared.
one in the end.
Very, very odd. I've never heard anything like that before. No. Yeah, that's it.
Have no interest in stories of my own to add to that, because that's just what WTF.
That's just weird.
The intervention. The one time I was sitting at a traffic light at an intersection that is perpendicular to an off-ramp to a major highway, the I-95. This one's in America, guys, in case you can't tell. I was a newer driver and a light watcher, so as soon as opposing traffic got the yellow light, I would already be about to take my foot off the brake. Well, this time when I took my foot off the brake, something pushed against my chest and kind of pinned me to the seat, but not my seatbelt, because it didn't get any tighter or stall like it does when you brake hard. I turned to the right to look at my passenger in shock, because I was so confused, but they yelled for me to go. When I turned my head straight to proceed, a car came literally flying, like airborne, across the intersection from the highway at lightning speed and crashed into an overgrown lot on the other side. I just burst into tears because what the fuck? I am an atheist, so I don't really know what to think of it.
I've heard a few stories. There was another one in America. So there's a great
That sounds like Guardian Angel more than like Glitch in the Matrix.
So I listened to this podcast called The Witch Bitch Amateur Hour, and every 10 episodes, I think it is, they do like a spooky sode, they call it, where they tell like ghost stories, Glitch in the Matrix stories and stuff. I quite often like skip to the
and go straight to the Glitch in the Matrix.
Like 6 hours long, these podcasts that they do, like they just read all these stories out, and a lot of them are sent in by their listeners too. And there was one where she normally took this route, like the same route down the highway home, like every night going to work, and she didn't take it that night for some reason. Like she just, something inside of her just kind of like made her go a different route. But she was like, she couldn't tell you what it was that made her do it, but like even if she tried to go the normal way, like she couldn't turn to go that way. Like she had to turn the wheel to go the opposite way to what she would normally. And then that night there was a massive pile up on that bit of road that she would normally be on.
Wow.
It's
that's like things like that's a Guardian Angel story. That I wonder if there's a Guardian Angel thread on Reddit. Maybe.
Well, I think my own personal belief is when it's your time, and there's no getting away from that. It will happen. Like Final Destination, right? It will happen. Yeah. there's no getting away from it. So when it's not your time, I think there's just like everything that can possibly help you survive will be thrown at you.
That's a good explanation.
That's my own personal beliefs. I'm not necessarily like religious or anything, but that's the way I've always kind of looked at it. I've had some quite close experiences with death, but I know like it's obviously not my time, because otherwise it would have happened. Right? I wouldn't have been saved in a sense.
I have actually had an incident like this before, and it was coming from Costa, shocker. And it's like a T junction, because they were trying to make a retail park, so that, in the middle of the expressway there's like a T junction where you can turn off to B&M, or you can turn off to go like Costa and other places. So like I'm at this T junction ready to, like, my lights are about to change, and so the lights turn to green, and I start to, like, usually I'm ready to go by the time the light's orange. But as I'm like getting ready to go, I can see this cement mixer truck just coming across in front of me, and I'm like, he ain't gonna stop, man. And he literally just went straight through the red light, got halfway through, and then just slammed on his brakes, right? Almost having a panic attack because he nearly hit me. But I was on green and he was on red, and he was just going full pelt through the traffic lights. And for me, I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh my god, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm fine, mate. Are you okay? Yeah. Like, because it affected him way more than it affected me, and it was because I kind of seen it coming. But I don't know where it was that day. I just didn't go straight away when the lights were already on green before I even started to move.
Yeah.
So.
So there's one about like green lights and stuff. When I was younger, we have this like bridge quite local to us. So it's like a big bridge. You can't see the other side of it. So it's got traffic lights.
Yeah.
We were always going over it all the time, like it's like in our local town. And I saw the green light, and my dad like saw the green light as well. And, like he started to go through it, but then cars started coming towards him, and he's like, I swear that light was green. And like it absolutely was. Like I saw it with my own eyes. Like it was green, but we were the only ones that saw it green, because all the cars behind us didn't move, and obviously then the cars are coming towards you. And I think that's more of like some like a glitch in like the time paradox thing. Yeah. Like it's just like couple minutes of like kind of out of whack,
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that happen a lot. The remote control clone. I was about 16 at the time, and I had just gotten a new TV to put in my room so that I could use the Xbox on it. It came with one remote. I remember specifically because I was very spacey and tended to lose things. Same. So wanted a second. Wow. Cut to about 3 months later, I lost the remote. I sleep with it on my nightstand and I don't remember moving it or dropping it or anything. But one day I went to grab it and it wasn't on my nightstand. I looked everywhere for that thing. It was driving me crazy. Until a few days later, when I looked between my bed and the wall. I'd already looked there, at least I thought so, and it was just there. I was absolutely excited until when I pulled the bed back to actually grab it, 2 remotes fell. Exact same brand. The same wear on the input, the select buttons, the number 2 was rubbed off, and both of them, and what really blew my mind was the batteries were the same mismatch of Duracell on whatever brand it came with, turned the same amount.
How does this happen to people that I've never had that happen.
Yeah,
I've had something go missing and then it turn up in a completely different place where it went missing, but never has it duplicated itself.
Or turn up in a place that you have already looked.
Yeah.
So that happens.
Yeah.
But I've never, not that I've noticed anyway, I've never had anything duplicated. So you wait, mate, we're gonna like come back in a week's time and be like, so everything.
But that's the thing. They remember that it came with one remote, and they remember that specifically because they wanted a second, right?
Mm.
So even if they did have a second remote, how would it have the same rubbings off on the buttons? How would it have the same mismatched batteries? Because surely, if you had like 2 Duracell and 2 Panasonic, you'd put the 2 Duracell in one and the 2 Panasonic in another. You wouldn't mix them about in remote, right?
Nice.
So I mean, that's definitely a glitch in the matrix. That
It's another creepy one, isn't it? There's not really much more to say about it other than that's
yeah.
weird.
Yeah. It's like the phone story at the beginning, but that was only one phone there. Like this time there's 2. Yeah.
Someone wants to
Mention
duplicate. If anyone wants to send me a duplicate of something, bring it.
Yeah, welcome to it. I'll always have a duplicate as opposed to losing something forever. The audio premonition. Mine happened quite recently, actually. I had just clocked out and gotten off of work and had planned that day that my mum and I would hang out. I climbed into her car and everything was chill like usual when I began to hear a loud crashing noise like the car just got hit by another car, along with scraping and honking / doors being slammed. Of course, I said nothing of it because I didn't want to speak bad energy like that out there, so I kept it. Of course, what happens 30 minutes later? We have a hit and run happen, and all the same noises I was hearing prior to it happening end up also happening. Needless to say, I was definitely confused / floored. Sometimes I think about it and feel like just because it even popped into my mind, I already put the energy out there in the universe. So it wouldn't have mattered if I'd spoke it out or not. I suppose I could have mentioned to stay vigilant or something, but I've never had this happen to me before, so I didn't really know how to approach it. Damn.
It's actually, I can't remember the exact name for it, but like a psychic medium. There's like a different name for it, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
And there is an
Clairvoyant?
Yes. So there's a
Clairvoyant?
clairvoyant, and then there's like an audio voyant or clair audio or something like that. It's like there's a similar thing.
And instead of seeing, you hear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that absolutely that could have happened. It's not necessarily like a glitch in the matrix, but it's just that maybe like they were so relaxed and chilled at that time in that moment that they let that in.
Yeah. Yeah, because people do have that kind of ability. You just have to be extremely open to it. You've got to let it in. Oh, wow.
Something really odd happened at the weekend, and I nearly messaged you about it actually because I was just fuck, like what just happened? We were sat at McDonald's, and I was sat upstairs with the kids. They were just doing their kid thing, and Dean was downstairs waiting for the food, and he was bringing it up. And I was literally sat at the table with the kids, and I was just like zoned out, because the kids were just being kids, and I was just like zoned out, just in my own little world, letting them get on with arguing with each other or whatever they were doing. And there was this other little boy sat with his mum, just over from us, and they were like sat like looking out the window, and this little boy was sat like naming all the cars, and they were waiting for their dad to come up as well with the food.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, like I'm still in my own little world, not really like paying much attention to anything because kids are driving me crazy, and if I don't clock out, then I'm gonna lose my shit. So I'm just there, like, just staring into space. And whilst I'm staring into space, I see this little boy, not the little boy that was with his mum, but this other little boy with them, like he was another son. And it was like he was, just he wasn't sat down or anything. He was just kind of like stood up, like messing around, like kind of trying to, like he was almost trying to get their attention.
Yeah.
And honestly, all I could think was, oh, there's her other son. But then when I actually like come round, there was
out of it.
Yeah, there was no one there. And it was like they've had another child that didn't, like, something happened and, he's not around anymore. But he's obviously still there in spirit. And he was there and I could see him. Like, I was just like, what the hell just happened? But because
you must have entered the ether for a moment.
I honestly just like that zoned out and in my own little world, just like, and I wasn't even really thinking of anything, I was just there, just like nothing on my mind, nothing, not thinking like, oh, right, so when I get home, I need to do this. It's the weekend, so we need to get this ready for the week.
You were almost in like a meditative state, almost.
Yeah, like literally, that's exactly what it was like. Like I was just so like just open to anything like coming in.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I nearly said to this woman, like, do you have another child that's not here anymore? But I didn't want her.
I know, it's such a hot, like, yeah.
Because I really wanted to be like, he's here with you. Like, I've just seen him, like, he's here with you. But then I also didn't want to,
freak her out.
Yeah. Freak this little boy out either, because like he's just having the best time looking out the window and naming all the cars. And I didn't want to almost ruin, not ruin, but put that sadness on like what was meant to be like a happy like family outing.
Yeah.
But, I was like, that's so fucking weird, man. That's so cool.
That is weird. I've never had a situation like that. But because this is the thing, I'm not. It's like I'm scared of ghosts, but I'm kind of not. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I just don't want. Please leave me alone. That's what I'm like with ghosts. Really, I'm like, so I'm very closed off to my ability to do that, I think.
Yeah. See, whereas I'm not scared.
Yeah.
I find it very, very interesting. Obviously I know there is dangers there, but then I also know how to deal with those dangers if they were to ever come up. So yeah. But yeah, it was just so weird. Like, and I wouldn't say it's like a glitch in the Matrix story as such. It was just, yeah.
That falls more on like the spooky, kind of side.
It reminds
which we do have a creepy spooky video coming up in October, so keep an ear out for that.
It just I'd forgotten about it as well until like reading this and then like thinking back, because like I nearly messaged in our group chat being like, whoa. Yeah. What just happened?
Yeah.
But then we just carried on with our day, and just carried on what we were doing. And I'd actually forgotten about it until reading that, and I was thinking, oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. I did have a friend that was a medium, clairvoyant, and he could see and hear. So sometimes he could just hear things going on, like messages or just hear things, and then sometimes he could like literally see things. And he's not with us anymore. God rest his soul.
Sad, isn't it?
So, yeah, it's very sad. Very sad.
It can be like a lot of pressure on someone.
Oh, 100%. Like his life was kind of dedicated to trying to give others some piece of joy or comfort in some way.
So the audio version of it, I've just looked up, the audio version of it is clairaudience.
Ah, okay.
So that's what this audio premonition would have been, clairaudience. And it could, like, I don't normally have that ability to kind of see dead people, you know.
Yeah.
And it was just because I was in such that calm, meditative, zoned out state that it happened. And that could have been why it had happened to this person, because they'd just clocked out of work, you know, and like knew what they were doing. So just clocked out of work, just having that moment of just like, oh my God, like,
Yeah.
out, done. You know, so it could have been very much the same as me, where they just zoned out for a moment.
Very interesting.
The Guardian Blip. I remember I was jumping on the bed as a toddler, like maybe 5 years old at most. I did this crazy flip and was heading upside down head first into the corner of the dresser, next to the bed. Next thing I know, I'm just sitting there on the floor, not hurt, don't remember landing at all. Apparently, I told my mum someone caught me, so I can't tell if this is a ghost or a guardian angel or a blip in the universe, but I'm always confused on how that happened.
Damn.
That's weird.
That is weird. But like, kids are super open to this energy kind of, you know, ghost, if you want to believe, you know.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
I fully believe. I'm open to everything. I'm like the opposite of an atheist.
Oh yeah, same. Like I will take
Atheists believe in nothing. I believe in everything.
absolutely. And you know, when you actually do look at the deeper fundamentals of different religions and stuff, they all have the same like base.
Base.
You
Yeah,
know?
baseline. Yeah.
So I believe in most things, and you know, I think actually it's just a blend of everything, like all together. But this is odd for sure. And I do 100% believe that like a ghost slash guardian angel caught them, and whether that was like a grandparent or a great grandparent or an uncle or auntie or something, like anywhere,
Yeah.
I do believe that you are kind of being watched over by family members and making sure that you're not going before your time. And I would hope
Yeah.
that 5-year-old, it's not your time.
Yeah. Oh, my mum, someone caught me. Interesting. The Imposter Call. I was at work when my dad called my phone. He was worried that something was wrong because a few minutes earlier I had called him. He couldn't make out what I was saying, but he knew it was my voice and I sounded agitated. All he could make out were a couple of times where I used some of the nonsense nicknames I use for my parents' pets, so we thought something had happened to the dogs. I told him I hadn't called him, but he didn't believe me and thought I was pulling a prank. Later on, when I saw him in person, I showed him that the last outgoing call I had made to him had been about 5 days before. But he had definitely been called by my phone earlier that day because his phone showed an incoming call from my number and the call had gone on for about 3 minutes before it was cut off.
What?
I mean, I don't know. That's definitely an unexplainable one. I mean, you could have deleted it from your call log, but you know,
You would.
why would you?
But you would know if you had phoned them, right? You wouldn't just be like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to delete it from my call log."
Yeah, you wouldn't pull a prank and then write a story about it.
No.
No. But how crazy.
Yeah, I've
Not
had
crazy, but just bonkers.
I've had a couple like similar stories to this, and it'll be like loved ones like that have passed on mostly, bringing the phone.
I
And
mean, like after my dad passed away, I kept his SIM card, right? And I had his number saved in my phone for years and years. And I always thought I will shit myself if my dad calls me.
yeah,
You know, and he never has. I haven't had a situation like that, but I always thought that like if it ever come up dad calling, I thought that'd be really creepy.
do reuse numbers though as well, don't they? Like, and it would be weird for that number to ring you, right? But like if you were to ring it and then someone answered, like they do
Yeah. Oh,
recycle them.
definitely. That's probably definitely somebody's number now.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, what like a glitch in it's definitely a glitch in the matrix, that one. It's gotta be
There's a glitch in something, whether it's the Matrix or some, but yeah, it could have been some like spooky, creepy entity, like trying to gain something from the dad by pretending to be his daughter, but not knowing enough.
I've probably seen it in a TV show somewhere, and they are like using like the phone's network. Yeah, probably seen it somewhere, but never heard of it in real life. It's creepy when it goes in real life. It's okay when it's in movies because you can kind of like write it off and be like, oh, that's completely made up, right?
The wrong number. Years after my brother passed away, my husband, who's also my brother's best friend, got a text message from his phone number. The text read, "Hey fam," and nothing else. We know that phone numbers get recycled. We're literally just talking about this.
This is like, and we like, sorry to interrupt here, but we did not read this script prior to speaking it now, recording it. So I had no idea that this was coming up next, but this is exactly what I was just talking about. That it'd be creepy if it happened, and here it is happening.
Here it is. We just, yeah, because we said, like, let's not read through it because we want our
true reactions
to things. My husband did not have this cell number. When my brother was alive, so my husband did not have his cell number when my brother was alive. And I told my family, my sister, who has a problem with boundaries, Bob, decided to call the number and talk to the sender. He told her that he did get a new phone and sent out a text to his family with his new number. But the only text that went through to my husband was "Hey fam," and not the rest of the message.
Oh my God.
The sender also did not have anything to show that he sent a message to my husband's cell phone.
Whoa.
He did not. What?
I'm just like mind blown by this story.
He did not have my husband's new number. The whole thing is bizarre, and before people want to tell me the theories about why it might have happened, I'm choosing to believe my brother, the prankster, just decided to blip the timeline and say hello.
That's 100% what happened. Like, told you, I believe in stuff like that, and I definitely. How else could you explain that only like "Hey fam" went through, but none of the rest of the message? This person doesn't have this person's number, and this person doesn't have this person's number. So how does that happen?
It's the only way, right?
Connecting via the ether.
I can't think of any logical explanation behind it. You know?
That's so interesting. Twins who share everything. I have an identical twin sister, and we are very close. Most people can't tell us apart. We've always done everything together. We both get sick at the same time. We both had our gallbladders removed, and then both had myomectomies. Later, we both got diagnosed with MS. One particular trip heading home to Florida to visit our parents, we stopped at a rest stop. There were several sections of bathrooms, so my sister and I split up and went in opposite directions. When I got into the restroom, I had an immediate case of deja vu. I quickly finished and left the bathroom. I spotted my husband and beeline straight for him. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw my sister heading there too. We both got to him at the same time and said in unison, "I had a dream about this bathroom." Needless to say, my husband was freaked out. Damn. So that, like, your twin brothers don't have that synchronicity.
No, but they're not like very close either, because they're so, like, even though they're identical twins, they're also so different from each other. So, you know, they don't really like hang around with each other.
Like, in a case like that, that's way more than just like identical twins though, right? Yeah. It's like that person like, is
that person is an exact mirror of, you know,
that
like
person is you.
That is
way
like
beyond identical.
That's like the duplication of the remote, but in people. Like, they were only meant to have one baby, but
that's what I mean. There was only supposed to be the one baby, but
yeah,
a glitch in the matrix literally cloned that baby. Some people are probably laughing at us, but I'm like, whew, gives me the heebies.
I get deja vu all the time. It's such an odd feeling, right? Because you're there and you're like, you can see everything like playing out, but in like the deja vu moment that you had, and then it does all of a sudden get to a point where it just stops.
I've done this before.
Yeah, and you
I've
can
done this
tell
exact
like,
same thing.
and you know what's going to happen next as well. You're like, this has happened before, and this is what's going to happen next, and then it just like plays out until it kind of gets to the end of that deja vu, and you're just like, well, that was weird. That's no really like explanation behind it.
I wonder if there's deja vu stories as well. Like, go to Google now while we've got everybody's attention, and what is deja vu? Because we all know what, like, we all use the phrase.
Okay, so deja vu, the meaning in the dictionary, so the Oxford English Dictionary, a feeling of having already experienced the present situation.
Okay.
And I guess like you could have dreamt it, like, but then why would you dream something that's actually gonna like actually happen?
Because that's the thing, though. People don't think when it's deja vu, they don't think, oh, I've dreamed this. So like dreaming something and then it happening is like completely different to deja vu, because I think with deja vu, you only realise in the moment that it's happening. You're like, I've done this before.
So it says the feeling may arise when parts of your brain that recognize familiar situations get activated inappropriately.
So it's our brain misrepresenting something that we've seen before for something else.
Possibly, yeah. We'll have to look into this properly another day and do a whole another video.
I was going to say, this video is sparking a whole load of new videos.
Thank you to BuzzFeed, Google, and Reddit for helping us with these stories. We would absolutely love for you to share your glitch in the Matrix stories with us.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode. We hope you learned something new. Please like, subscribe, and ding the bell so you don't miss future uploads.